Before schools, knowledge was beaten into children. Before classrooms, textbooks, and chalkboards, children learned through pain. Knowledge wasn't gently taught, it was beaten into them. Stay with me, because in this video, you'll see how this brutal method shaped the very idea of schools we know today. Would you have survived in a world where learning meant fear, bruises, and discipline so harsh it could break your spirit? Let's find out. Today, we see education as a right, something every child deserves. But for most of history, learning wasn't a right. It was either a punishment or a privilege so strict it could scar you for life. Think about this. In many cultures, reading and writing weren't for everyone. They were skills reserved for priests, nobles, and government officials. Ordinary children? Their education was survival. But whether you were in a palace or a peasant's hut, one thing united all methods of teaching: discipline through pain. Parents, priests, and masters all believed one thing: pain was the best teacher. Before public schools, children learned at home or through apprenticeships. A boy might be sent to a blacksmith. His lessons were fire, iron, and repetition. But mistakes weren't corrected with patience. If you dropped a tool, if you bent the metal wrong, if you disobeyed an order, the rod came down. A girl might learn housework, weaving, or farm labor. Burn the food, strike. Spill water, strike. Forget the instructions, another strike. The rod was not symbolic. It was very real. Wooden sticks, belts, canes, even bare hands. The goal wasn't cruelty for its own sake, but control. They believed harsh correction created memory, discipline, and fear strong enough to prevent repeat mistakes. For those lucky or unlucky enough to attend early church schools, life wasn't much better. Priests saw discipline as a holy act. To them, disobedience wasn't just a mistake. It was a sin. Records tell us that lazy students were whipped to make them memorize prayers. Silence, obedience, and pain are as much a part of the classroom as Scripture itself. Imagine a dim stone classroom in 14th century Europe. Candles flickering, a teacher with a whip on the table, children scratching letters on wooden boards, every mistake met with a sharp strike. One scholar from England even wrote, "No child remembers without the rod." The belief was simple: the mind only absorbs knowledge when the body suffers alongside it. Why they believed pain worked. It sounds cruel to us now, but to them it made perfect sense. People believed the body must suffer for the mind to grow. Pain carved lessons deeper into memory. Think about soldiers in training. They learned discipline through exhaustion, drills, and punishment. That was the same logic applied to children. Parents often encouraged teachers to strike harder, convinced their child would thank them later. They saw beatings not as abuse, but as love, a painful investment in the child's future. And strangely, it sometimes worked. Fear did make children remember. But at what cost? Many carried those scars, physical and emotional, for life. This wasn't only Europe, ancient China. Confucian schools demanded absolute obedience. A wrong answer could mean kneeling for hours or a beating. Medieval Islamic schools, madrasas. While teaching advanced science and philosophy, strict discipline was common. Teachers quoted proverbs: "Spare the rod, spoil the child." West African apprenticeships. Young boys training under elders in crafts or oral traditions were disciplined harshly if they forgot lines or disrespected authority. Across the world, the same pattern appeared. Education was inseparable from discipline, and discipline meant pain. But slowly, change began. During the Renaissance, humanist thinkers like Erasmus dared to challenge the whip. Erasmus wrote that children learn best through play and patience, not fear. He argued that joy and encouragement build stronger minds than pain ever could. Radical words in the 1500s. Others followed. Michel de Montaigne, a French philosopher, ridiculed teachers who terrorized students. He claimed fear produced obedience, not wisdom. Yet even with these voices, progress was painfully slow. Most classrooms clung to the rod. In the 18th and 19th centuries, the cane and whip remained central tools in schools. British classrooms had punishments like caning across the hands or backside, standing for hours holding heavy objects, writing lines hundreds of times until hands cramped. In America, Puritan schools justified beatings with scripture. The idea was that a sinful nature needed to be driven out through pain. And the strange part, parents still supported it. Many wrote letters asking teachers not to be too soft on their children. Reform finally gained momentum in the late 19th and 20th centuries. Philosophers like John Locke and later John Dewey emphasized curiosity, play, and democratic classrooms. Yet corporal punishment remained legal in many countries well into the 20th century. In fact, in some parts of the world, it's still legal today. The ghosts of those old beliefs haven't fully vanished. Modern schools look nothing like those brutal beginnings, but traces remain. Strict uniforms, detentions, suspensions, the obsession with obedience and order. These are softer echoes of a time when pain and fear ruled learning. We may have dropped the whip, but the idea of strict control never fully disappeared. So the next time you complain about homework or exams, remember, there was a time when learning your ABCs could mean welts on your back. Would you have survived in a school like that? Drop a simple yes or no in the comments. And here's something I want to hear from you. Do you think discipline is necessary for learning, or should education always be gentle? If this story shocked you, hit subscribe for more hidden history every week. Because the past wasn't just different, it was brutal, strange, and sometimes even darker than we can imagine.